Okay, and I do believe this
Singing
is a...
sounds of...
Stop trying. Stop trying. What are you doing, Yaku? What are you... God damn it. It's a fresh series.
Get back in practice. And as Light is saying, we do have a fresh series. The score is 0-0. And it is going to be another PvP, starting off right now on Everdream, L.E. Ideally Edle, where in the top right-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top right-hand corner map, we have the red Protoss player, coming out from the land of South Korea. He is the Shield of Ire himself, the representative assistant director, president, chairman of Shield. He is going to be representing Afrika Freaks. Are you free, Light?
Down in Africa.
We have stats.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player, the purple Protoss, representing Brave Star Gaming. BSG, it is Cyan.
No, I have a stat for you, Light. That was actually unintended. So, as we all know, we did miss out on last week's ESL Asia Cup, but apparently that was Stats and Zest in the final. Zest, he was looking to beat his rival Solar to become the #1 ESL Open Cup Asia champion once again, but Stats not only denied that, but also made it into a three-way tie. Stats, Solar, and Zest, they're all fighting for the title of the most winningest ESL Open Cup Asia champion. And all I can say, Light, is I don't see Solar or Zest on this bracket, probably because they're playing in Gold Series Team League, but that's all I'm saying, Light.
I was about to say, as soon as you said Solar, I'm like, oh, he's another player who isn't here today, and he's one of the regulars. And then immediately I thought, oh, right, there's a reason for that. And I am quickly checking, and I do believe that Solar will be playing... No, sorry, not Solar. Yeah, he's playing for KaiZ, and he is competing in 40 minutes. So, yeah.
There we have it.
That is why...
I believe that may or may not have also happened last week. I'm not sure what happened there, but I saw that Solar made it to semifinals and then forfeited.
God damn it. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that, as a reminder to the people, every single week, around 2 hours into the broadcast, there is typically a Chinese tournament. I say a Chinese tournament, it is a team league for all of the teams, like KaiZ Gaming, Brave Star Gaming, Dragon Phoenix Gaming, and there are a lot of people a lot of Korean players who are part of that.
There are, and as well as... if there's not Chinese Gold Series League, Team League, then there's usually something like Doyu Cup on.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it does clash.
There's a reason why this is kind of the golden hour for Asian tournaments.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame that they do overlap with each other. It would be great if they could somehow find a compromise and spread out a little bit. But at the same time, GSL is also in the middle of the week as well. Like it's
I think this is just about the best case scenario in terms of the schedule.
Yeah, unfortunately. But, it does also give an opportunity for other up-and-coming players, players like, Patience, Control, Nightmare, to kind of showcase their skill here. And, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Like, Cyan, he's also one of them, right? Like, he was able to take out Creator. We'll see if he's able to break that Shield of Ire.
I was trying to come up with a way of like, yes, with the Cyan light. But then I thought, no, I can't use any of that.
No.
Well, Cyan has already bested me, so I'm pretty confident that he can best stats over here.
Oh, yeah, we'll see. I mean, he does have a decent amount of adepts here, continuing to threaten stats, forcing him to continue to warp in that building, and he gets a sentry.
Yeah, pretty nicely done. Whatever he can do to try to have a knock-on effect later on, but now there is a reason why we call stats the Shield of Fire, or the Director of Shield, depending on which persuasion you prefer to use.
Oh.
Well, stats with a immortal drop, depowering both gateways. And with that, does stats have too much momentum? All of the stalkers from Cyan are across the map. They're moving back now, not using recall. Shield battery does get taken out.
There's not enough
stalkers
energy.
are at depth, sorry.
Yeah, there was no energy for recall, and now like with the sentries, he's able to force field his opponent like out of his base. He is trying to shade in, but like so much damage has already been done. 17 probes have gone down.
Jesus Christ. The Adepts will finally make it in and will clear this out. But as you were saying, like, so the damage has been done. Not only the probes have been taken out, but the Immortal is now on half health. There is no Guardian Shelf available for him. So Stats could realistically take it out with these Stalkers, but instead opts to play it a little more safe and just get some more probe kills over there.
Yeah, Jesus.
Massive advantage. Look at the worker discrepancy.
Exactly. Like, that was huge what he just did. Like, he went in with 1 Immortal and 2 Sentries. He force fielded the majority of the army out, and with that Immortal, he was able to depower so many structures, killed so many probes, and now, like, the War Prism is still alive.
Again. It is still alive, and it is still juggling. And Maze Light, Stats, he's always had pretty good micro. And, yeah, he's,
Yeah,
again, I'm at a loss of words. He's just really, so far ahead.
Yeah, he's really showcasing that micro right here, right now against Cyan. To be fair, Cyan, he is looking to counterattack. He does have a War Prism of his own. He is warping across the map, trying to deal some kind of damage to Stats. And I mean, like, the opportunity is here for him. Like, if he's able to kill like a good 10 workers or so, then he will be able to get back into this.
And he is looking to do exactly that. Stats with the immediate evacuation. And so Cyan gets 6 probes, could make it to 7. There's that 7, there's that 8.
Yeah.
But Stats does deflect this and just goes back into mining. Meanwhile, in the natural base, it is looking very, very vulnerable. This Guardian Shield for Cyan really working overtime.
What's important is that, yeah, like Cyan, he's dealing more and more damage across the map, and you know what he's done? He's equalized on workers.
Just about, yeah, 36 and 36. They are exactly equal. That was we're back to square one.
Exactly.
Kind of.
Yeah, like again, Cyan, he needed to do this. He needed to deal this damage. Otherwise, Stats would have been so far ahead. So with that, really nicely done. I mean, so far the War Prism is safe. He should be able to recall that out if he ever needs to. And yeah, Cyan, like for the most part, he's been able to stabilize. He's even defending quite well against the War Prism of Stats as well. It looks like he's trying to like preemptively split up his army, but as a result, like he's gonna be losing a couple of probes here.
Cyan, literally a couple.
Yeah.
Yes, we're in just a fight for, trying to get a small advantage and snowball it into a massive advantage. And now we are more seeing, I would guess you could call them deviations in builds. Cyan opting for a quicker +1, or Stats going for 4 more gateways and then a forge.
Yeah, so Cyan, he will have the upgrade advantage, but Stats, he will have the much faster blink. We'll see if these upgrades are used, like if there are timings involved with this, where they're able to utilize them when their opponent don't have blink or +1 respectively. So yeah, the opportunity is definitely there for either player. We'll see who's the first to expand, as it looks kind of like Stats is getting ready to. Meanwhile, Cyan, not at all.
No expansion whatsoever. Also deciding to go for these this really strong 2-base push, I should say, but he is going to keep up his upgrade lead. He will be hitting with +2, whereas Stats, he's just slowly building up.
Yeah.
Instead.
Yeah, I mean, Cyan, he's trying to find an avenue, but Stats, he had an army or some units here in the main base to make sure the War Prism couldn't get in, and we do see that Cyan, he is the first player to throw down his Nexus, his 3rd base. Meanwhile, Stats still, there we go, he does have the probe on the way, so he's going to be throwing down his own as well. And yeah, both players are kind of threatening each other. Like, the War Prism is still here for Stats, but it looks like things are kind of starting to slow down.
But I wonder how long that's going to last, like, as upgrades are going to be finishing, and Stats, he does have the higher army supply. Now, is he going to stay home and be a little more passive, or is he going to try to end things?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he does have a decent immortal count. He does have 3 as well as this War Prism. So he can utilize this. Like, he also has Blink as well. But yeah, he is a little bit behind when it comes to the upgrades, and Blink isn't too far off for Cyan. So defensively, he can do well for himself, especially with all of these defensive shield batteries.
Oh, but that's if Stats gives him the time to finish up, which okay, they should now. But yeah, Stats is going straight on for it, consolidating his entire army, warping in Templar just to get the Archons out, and Charge is about halfway done.
Yeah, it is halfway done, so it's not going to be available. It shouldn't be available to this fight. We'll see, maybe even like halfway through the fight. I love how Stats, he's like bypassing the army and like could potentially just go right into the natural, but oh my god.
A nice save over there with the blink away. And meanwhile, here it comes. The Zealot's not quite having charge yet, but it just seems like Stats has an overwhelming numbers lead. Cyan will be finishing up +2 pretty soon, and he is fighting within shield battery range. The battery overcharge helping out so much.
Yeah, and again, like fighting without charge, I feel like was a big mistake. There we go. The War Prism gets taken out from Stats as well, and honestly, like this army doesn't look too imposing. Like if he takes his time with the help of all these shield batteries, Cyan, he should be able to hold on. He's trying to blink back as well, and for the most part, the buffer is gone for Stats.
It absolutely is. These Zealots have been gone before Charge can finish up. The Guardian Shell on the Immortals really what's keeping them alive. And you gotta credit these Archons, man.
Ooh,
they are adding a bit of splash damage here and there, allowing the other units to clean up. Cyan's army supply is plummeting right now, and Stats still very healthy. GG is called. Stats takes game number 1.
GG, and it's important to note, even though we didn't see it, 15 probes did go down in the natural of Cyan as all that was happening, because Stats, he did send off a couple of units there as well, and wow.
I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. He used it for that Surge game, and yeah, wow. I mean, Stats, he took a massive lead at the start of the game, and then it almost looked like he threw by making the game even again, but yeah, Stats knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that was really well done by
to attack.
Yeah, by Cyan. Like his army positioning, he was able to snipe that War Prism. So again, what Stats had across the map was all he had, right? But yeah,
I'm gonna be a quick little second. Just gotta blow my nose. We'll be back.
all good. As we are getting ready for game number 2 in this PvP, we are loading into Ice and Chrome. And yeah, I mean, so far Cyan didn't look too bad. I'm curious to see, you know, if any of these players have anything special in store for us. Again, we do expect Stats to play fairly standard. That's kind of what he's known for, as opposed to his counterpart Zest, who's known for being a little bit more aggressive, but we'll see. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ice and Chrome LE, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Team Afrika Freaks. It is Stats. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ice and Chrome LE, we have the Chinese Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, currently representing Brave Star Gaming BSG. It is Cyan.
And over here in
the ref introduced, they're done.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome back, though. Welcome back.
I am back, and it is great to be here. And speaking of welcome, thank you very much, Bel Air, for the raid.
Oh wow. Thank you so much, Belair. We really appreciate it. I hope everything is going well with you. As of course Belair, he has been casting this tournament in German. But I'm also aware that Belair has been staying up and casting DreamHack. So yeah, he's been putting in a lot of hours.
That he has. Wait, I was gonna say, is it done yet? Because, well, I guess there is a little bit of a break for him, as the next DreamHack is going to be in about a week, question mark? It's a group stage,
my.
and Cyan, little cheeky there.
Wow, he
sees this pylon, but it is just a spotter.
It is, but I love it though. He knows that Stats can see it. He did spray, so Stats knows that he knows that there's a pylon there. That's great.
Yes, but Stats knows that Cyan knows that Stats has a pylon there.
Oh, that's true. You're not wrong. And you know what? Stats also knows that there is this other proxy, or sorry, this spotter pylon for Cyan. So everyone knows what everyone knows.
I know that you know that you know that you know.
But do you know?
I don't know nothing, man. That's inno.
Oh.
Patient.
What?
That's E. No. I was trying to make it like Enu, but
I thought you were going for Into the Clan or something. But yep.
I was.
And meanwhile, of course, this always happens, and it happens in every single PvP, mate. You know what it is.
Stargate versus Robo.
Yeah.
Like, what else would you get right now? And hello, Stat? Oh. I thought for a second Cyan was attacking his own pylon there, but nope, attacking the probe stats.
Yep, we did have just a little bit of a depth on a depth action there, and as we were pointing out, we do have a Stargate versus a Robo. It's always nice to see.
Yeah. No matter how many times you see it. Which is quite often nowadays.
It's quite often. Yes, quite often indeed.
But this is going to be a battle, you know. Cyan, he's going to have a lot more harassment potential earlier on. He is actually transitioning into a robo facility behind us. So he is just looking to get a little bit of harassment done earlier on. Maybe get that Void Ray for some defenses. And yeah, meanwhile, Stats, he's going for a bit of a more old school, and by old school I mean a couple of months ago, approach of, you know, just building up for a push and trying to warp in across the map.
Yeah, and these two flying units do miss each other. We do have the Oracle first coming out here, and he will be able to spot the expansion of Stats. As Cyan, of course, he's only just now getting his own. And yeah, we'll see what he can get done here as well. There's quite a number of units here for Stats.
That there are, and a shield battery. A single Oracle is not going to be enough to one-shot these probes. So Stats chases us away, not losing a single mark on a Void Light!
Wow.
I thought for sure it was gonna miss it, but Cyan immediately turning around, notices the Void Warp Prism, and Stats running off back to the pylon position.
Yeah, immediately, and the Oracle even coming in as well, and oh, he does recall, and he should be able to escape just barely. And yeah, that was great. We didn't really get to mention it, but I don't think we've been able to cast too much together when it comes to the new patch. I think just DreamHack.
Yeah, it was just about the DreamHack Taiwan. In terms of the Protoss players that we casted, I believe it was just DreamHack Taiwan. DreamHack China, we did ZVZ.
True. So it's been a while since we've casted, but of course we do have the new patch, and I love it. We have seen a lot more Void Ray play coming out in multiple matchups, all 3 matchups actually, for better or for worse. But
I mean, I'm sure some of us have some Wings of Liberty PTSD.
Yeah, it's been interesting to say the least, the more Void Ray play, and so far there's only one Void Ray coming out here for Cyan, just kind of, you know, a safety Void Ray to help deal with stuff like the Warp Prism.
Bit of an anti-scout / anti-harassment unit going out here, and we see that the actual tech of choice that Cyan wants to go for is going to be Disruptors. I imagine Disruptors into Archons or Storm, but Blink Disruptor is still pretty useful.
Yeah, it's a little bit more old school, but we could definitely see it. We always talk about it, right? Like, it's kind of awkward when you see the Protoss player go Disruptor and charge lots, right? It's like, it's not ideal.
Listen, that's when the charge lots basically become Banelings. They go in, they do a bunch of damage, and what they do is they mark the target. Exactly, they die, but they take their opponents down with them because of the Disruptors. It's basically like Kerrigan in the StarCraft 1 campaign.
Sure, yeah. Why not? As we do see Cyan, he's looking to be pretty aggressive here. He's already pushing out across the map with the army that he does have available to him. But defensively, like, again, there's a reason why we call him the Shield of Fire, right? Like, he's got 3 shield batteries already.
Oh, but I'm not too sure about this one, Light. Control in the juggling was a little bit sloppy there, but he did manage to save both of the Immortals, and now that he is back within shield battery range, this is Stats' comfort zone. This is what we know him to excel at.
Exactly, this is what he's known for, and immediately he just pushes on forward. Oh, it does look like he misses the army a little bit, so he does get split up. But again, like, he just has to wait for that one Purification Nova to be used up, and then he can just pounce on the army.
Exactly, and with Blink, he is absolutely trying to bait these shots out. Cyan, he's not taking the bait. He's waiting for some juicy shots that he can connect on these Immortals or these Sentries, but as you said, Light, one Purification Nova, and now Stats, he has got the... It's not inertia, what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, inertia works.
he has the freedom, question mark, but oh, there's another disruptor
there.
there.
Push forward. And there is... But again, Cyan, he's just being very reserved of it. He knows that Stats has Blink, so he knows what the caliber of a player like Stats is. So he's just not willy-nilly, you know, firing out these Novas. He is waiting until he can get these Sentries and Immortals into position.
Ooh, and we'll see if he's able to do so. With 2 shots, he can use one to bait the first Blink, and then he can use the other to try and catch the army out of position. And we do see the first Blink is used, but he does have one more shot in him.
He's only got 1 shot left. Oh, and immediately recalls, which is pretty useful as Stats, you know, he does have a Warp Prism out.
Yeah, that he does. It's always like a looming threat. And Cyan, I do believe that he probably thought that he couldn't take Stats on in a head-on engagement. Like, Stats' army was getting larger and larger. He did have that defender's advantage available to him. But, yeah.
And he knew that Stats was looking to be on the offensive.
Oh.
Especially if he could go for a counterattack.
Exactly.
So now Cyan, he's getting set up.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing right now as Stats is going for that counterattack. We do have a couple of shield batteries finishing up just in time for Cyan, and it looks like with them, it will help so much trying to hold this location down, even using some of the Stats wards.
I'm watching it closely, Light, and I thought for a second Stats was going to get into the Stats ward. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism does get a couple of slow lots in here. Will be taken out by the Void Ray, which is pretty unfortunate. You absolutely want that for micro potential or for reinforcements.
Yeah, definitely.
And so Stats decides to just back away. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good move. He knows that, you know, an army without a Warp Prism is about half as strong as an army with a Warp Prism.
Yeah, and a very interesting decision here coming out from Cyan. I guess he's utilizing the fact that he does have that Robotics Bay to him, so he's switching into Colossus as well. And Colossus, that definitely does help against stuff like charge lots, depending on what Stats goes for.
I don't think Stats is charge.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, it helps against stuff like that, but I don't know if Cyan knows what Stats is going for exactly. I mean, regardless, it will help his army.
Definitely will. Meanwhile, Stats gonna be finding fire with fire here, going for these disruptors. An important thing to note out is that Stats did notice that Cyan wasn't blinking. That's because the only upgrade he's got right now on his Twilight Council is Glaive, and this is actually a massive blink forward. All of the target firing light. What is a Colossus gonna do against Stalkers? Live, apparently.
Apparently live. That was really ambitious from Stats. I don't know if you noticed, he was able to snipe 1 disruptor, and he was trying to focus down the Colossus and the 2nd disruptor, but the Warp Prism Micro was just good enough to save them. Meanwhile, though, Stats, he's still finding quite a bit of damage here with these Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, taking out a pylon here and there. We are getting to the point where Stats, he still needs to keep these Stalkers just to keep him alive, but he does want to transition towards his more late game army. He wants to get more, you know, Immortal Disruptor. Probably not going to be going into Chargelets, as, you know, we mentioned earlier, that's not really what you want if you're going for disruptors, but, you know, something like Archons.
Yeah, and this is why I don't really like the choice from Cyan. Like, I feel like he should also be investing into more and more disruptors. Like, I feel like that's kind of what you want here in this PvP, especially because of Stats' army composition. I feel like Colossus are just targets for disruptor shots, right? Like, they can't blink.
The bait for disruptor shots is what they are, because they're gonna get picked up by the Warp Prism, and guess what, Light? The Nova only hits ground units. This is a bajillion in 1 IQ coming out from Cyan.
As long as he picks them up, it's an amazing move. You know,
and only one Colossus can go into a warp prism at a time.
Oh god, you're right. Oh my god, it's gonna be so difficult to pull off. But if he does, it's gonna be amazing.
That it will. High risk, high reward. Stats will not walk into the stasis ward.
That he does not, and a relation is used. Here we go. It looks like the main armies are trying to face each other.
Ooh, nice snipe there with the Disruptor. And a couple of Novas being thrown out right now from Stats. Blink is not quite done yet for Cyan. I'm not sure if Stats notices this or not.
Oh my god, he has a blink!
He could absolutely press this advantage. He can absolutely press this army into a corner, but instead decides to go for a better, safer option, and will cut the army in half, going straight for the natural.
I didn't even notice that Cyan, he doesn't have blink. Like, his army is going to be so vulnerable to the army of Stats to these Purification Novas.
Indeed it will. These Colossus are doing a decent job, you know. They may not do that much damage against these Stalkers, but they do enough to soften them up a bit for these Stalkers to clean them out.
Oh god.
But yeah, here come these Novas, Light.
Exactly, like perchance Stats stumbled upon the ideal unit that he needs against Cyan right now, as it looks like Blink did just finish up for Cyan. He now has the micro potential to dodge the Disruptor shots, but the damage was already done. Like, so much value was already gained by Stats.
It really has, and honestly, I think even more damage could have been done there. Yes! Stats is going for chargelets!
He's a madman, he's doing it! And he knows that he has the freedom to do so, right? Like, right now, he's just trying to contain his opponent, he's trying to pull Cyan apart, and we'll see if he finds the opportunity.
Ooh, bit of a flank with the Disruptors, but the kiting from Cyan is going to be adequate enough! Nice blinks, I think only a single Stalker went down there.
Yes, Stats, he was trying to flank with the Disruptors, but it didn't quite work out. He aggressively blinks
forward on top of this. And he does get the, not the Immortal, the other unit. I'm not sure if this is the right move right now, Light, but the Immortals do stand strong. Stats, he's just lost all his Stalkers, but the Immortal count is still here, and the Disruptors are still here, so...
Oh my god, he even picks up the Disruptors as well!
In a better position.
Yeah, again, like with these reinforcements, it looks like the Warp Prism will go down, but it does manage to get a warp in of Zealots just in time. And it looks like, as bloody as this battle has been, it looks like both players will disengage from each other. I don't know if you noticed, but Cyan got some amazing Disruptor shots off in the main army of Stats, completely wiping out.
I was wondering how the Stalkers died so quickly.
Like, almost every single Stalker died to a single Disruptor shot. It was insane. They just absolutely evaporated. And again...
What of all of these Disruptors?
Exactly, like there are Phoenixes, but there's only one. Like, they can only pick up one Disruptor at a time.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Stats, he has transitioned more into this charged army, which, you know, as you were saying, the Colossus will shred them, but not before they manage to, you know, land on top of something. They can absolutely zone out something like these Disruptors, something like those Stalkers, and here come the Novas!
Wow. 2
of them taken out with one, and there we have it, the Shield of Fire himself. Hey, you know what I think, Light? I think his stats on the Ligulac are going to be bumping up. While Light updates the admins and also, I imagine, internally face palms for a while.
Yeah, unfortunately, my hands are busy there. But that was amazing. GG, well played. We called it, right? I don't know if you noticed, all 3 of those Colossus went down to Disruptor shots. There was no Warp Prism to pick them up. There was nothing for them to do except for slowly scuttle away as they were just absolutely evaporated.
It only takes one sometimes. That's a duality of stasis wards. They're either completely dead supply or you win the game in 2 seconds. To be fair, this was a bit more of a, I don't know how I would describe it. Technical? Is that the word to use? It was a bit more of a positional game this time, how Stats use the Disruptors. But, yeah, they really can win you a game, whether it's a PvT or a PvP. Sometimes a PvC. And with that, we have our 2 semifinals. We will be having a PvP in the upper bracket between Stats and Hurricane, but that is going to be on hold for a quick little second, as we are going to be starting with the TVP Special versus Trap.